NHL Free Agency is one of the most exciting times of the year. Big names will hit the market and make their way to new teams. This year's class is very strong, highlighted by a 50-goal scorer, one of the biggest players moved at the trade deadline, and a team captain of a decade and a half. With that in mind, today we're going over the top 25 unrestricted free agents of 2024. Sam Reinhart. It's not often that a 50-goal scorer hits the open market, and the Florida Panthers will be eager to retain Sam Reinhart's services. But there's a chance he's played himself out of their budget. He's going to get paid this offseason, whether it's by the Panthers or somebody else. In 82 games in the regular season, he had 57 goals and 94 points. Reinhardt has also been solid in the playoffs, posting 8 goals and 12 points in 15 games. As of writing, the Panthers are preparing to face the Oilers in what promises to be a must-see Stanley Cup final, which presents Reinhardt with a few more games to earn a few more dollars on his next deal. Jake Guentzel. The Carolina Hurricanes won the Jake Guentzel sweepstakes at the trade deadline, acquiring him from the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Guentzel is not guaranteed to be back in Raleigh next season. The star sniper could elect to test the market, and there will be a lot of interest if he does. In 67 games this regular season, he had 30 goals and 77 points, while also having 4 goals and 9 points in 11 playoff games. The Hurricanes have a lot of pending free agents this summer, 9 UFAs and a couple of major RFAs like Seth Jarvis and Martin Necas. We'll be talking about them more later on, but the Canes aren't a team that's known to go hunting for rentals at the deadline. They absolutely acquired Guentzel with every intent on extending him, but will they be able to make the numbers work? Steven Stamkos. He may be 34 years old, but Steven Stamkos is still an elite NHL forward at this stage of his career. Stammer was once again one of the top Lightning players this season, recording 40 goals and 81 points in 79 games. The Lightning are working hard to get their captain re-signed, but they will need to free up cap space after recently reacquiring Ryan McDonagh. Right now, a return is not guaranteed. The last time Stamkos was up for a contract, he nearly left for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but settled for a bargain of a deal to remain in Tampa. But will he do the same this time? Plenty of teams will be interested in an elite-level player who has leadership qualities and 2 Stanley Cup rings with the Bolts. Patrick Kane. After struggling last season and undergoing major surgery, Patty Kane bounced back big time after signing with Detroit. The future Hall of Famer has shown that he is still a star, and he should get a big contract this summer because of it. In 50 games with the Red Wings, he had 20 goals and 47 points. A big reason as to why the Winged Wheels were in the wildcard race until the very end. Kane is expected to test the free agent market this summer as he chases a 4th Stanley Cup, likely heading to a safe playoff team. Brady Shay. Back to Carolina we go. An underrated top 4 defenseman who quietly had a really solid year, Brady Shay suited up in 80 regular season games, recording 13 goals and 47 points. He was also dominant in the playoffs, recording 1 goal, 9 points, and a +5 rating in 11 games. This will only raise the value of his next deal. As mentioned, with Carolina needing to do some serious restructuring this offseason, Shay has likely priced himself out of town, but will be highly coveted by many teams in search of defensive help on the open market. Brandon Montour. The top right-shot defenseman of this class is easily Brandon Montour, another Florida Panther who is coming off of a career year. After a tough start to the season where he missed time due to injury, Montour has picked up his play and naturally improved his value, recording 33 points in 66 games. He hasn't been slacking in the playoffs either, munching some big minutes and putting up 9 points in 17 games. Thus, if he hits the market, he will have a plethora of suitors. Some teams to watch include the Maple Leafs, Hurricanes, Senators, and Red Wings, but the Panthers will absolutely want to retain his services. Should they beat Edmonton and win the Stanley Cup, perhaps that will be enough to convince Montour to stay. After winning the Conn Smythe Trophy in 2023, Jonathan Marchessault had an excellent 2023-24 season. He is a clutch scorer who may have priced himself out of Vegas as he had 42 goals and 69 points in 82 games. With the Golden Knights already locking up Noah Hanifin and acquiring Tomas Hertl, money may be too tight to bring back one of the original Vegas Misfits. The 35-year-old original Golden Knight is coming off of a 6-year, $30 million deal signed in 2018, which turned into one of the most valuable contracts in the entire NHL. Elias Lindholm, one of the top centers that could hit the market this summer, Elias Lindholm has seen his stock rise and fall this year. The Vancouver Canucks paid a good price to get him from the Calgary Flames before the deadline. Initially, Lindholm didn't perform well, but once the playoffs began, he proved his worth. Teams looking for a top 6 center who plays a strong two-way game will call, should the Canucks not extend him, which rumors suggest they want to. The Boston Bruins stand out as a prime possible landing spot for Lindholm if he tests free agency, as they desperately need a first-line center, even though he may be better cast in a second-line role. Matt Duchene. After being bought out by the Predators last summer, Matt Duchene was excellent for the Dallas Stars. In 80 regular season games, he had 25 goals and 65 points, while only making $3 million. That's one of the best bargain contracts in the league, and if Duchene wants more money, teams will absolutely pay him. Duchene also had a huge moment in the playoffs, scoring the double overtime winner to knock out the Colorado Avalanche and send the Stars to the Western Conference Final. Chandler Stevenson, another strong two-way center who could hit the market this summer, Chandler Stevenson has become a big part of Vegas' core as he fits on both special teams units and is a consistent 65-point threat. The expectation is that he has priced himself out of Vegas, especially with the addition of Hertl. Teams will be lining up to pay for the services of the former Stanley Cup champion. Tyler Toffoli, another impactful top 6 forward on an expiring contract. Tyler Toffoli is expected to hit the open market this summer. He will get a lot of attention as he is a consistent 30-goal threat and former Cup champion with LA. A reunion with the Kings could make sense, as would going to another team in need of forward help and a veteran presence. Think a team like the Ottawa Senators. Brett Pesce. Teams looking for help on their right side and penalty kill will surely target Brett Pesce, another top 4 defenseman from Carolina, this time a right shot, is not expected back with the Hurricanes. Pesce recorded 13 points in 70 games, but only suited up in 2 playoff matchups. Teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Dallas Stars, and Ottawa Senators should 100% target the two-way defenseman. Nikita Zadorov, yet another defenseman and big trade acquisition from the Vancouver Canucks. Nikita Zadorov is a big, gritty, hard-nosed player. The 6'6" Russian had a strong regular season in 2023-24, recording 6 goals, 20 points, and 177 hits in 75 games. He is also an outstanding penalty killer, which adds to his value. Mobile and rugged, he was always going to deepen the Canucks' defense and make them a bigger, tougher team for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Anything beyond that was going to be a bonus, which his thunderous postseason performance was. Jake DeBrusk, a top 6 winger in his prime who should land a nice contract this summer, Jake DeBrusk will generate plenty of interest. After struggling early in the regular season, he was excellent in the playoffs, leading the Boston Bruins with 5 goals and 11 points. The Bees have a big decision to make. On one hand, DeBrusk's streaky regular season performance did not warrant the money he is likely looking for. On the other hand, the Bruins probably don't want to let their leading goal and point scorer in the postseason walk. Shawn Monahan. Shawn Monahan had an outstanding season split between the Montreal Canadiens and Winnipeg Jets. In 83 total games, he had 26 goals and 59 points. Overall, he displayed that he can still be a very good top 6 forward, and he will get paid handsomely this summer. With how good of a fit he was in Winnipeg, the Jets will likely want to re-sign him and shore up their center depth. But with big raises kicking in for both Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck, money will be tight. Sean Walker. After the Colorado Avalanche acquired Sean Walker at the trade deadline, he started strong. However, his performance seemed to decline over time. Getting involved in the game is excellent, but Walker took penalties frequently and at inconvenient times. Yet he was a solid penalty killer in his own right. Colorado has 4 defensemen making $4.5 million or more, and with Walker likely looking for a raise, the writing seems to be on the wall. Teams will be willing to pay a premium for a right-shot defenseman that they probably need more than the Avs do. Teuvo Teravainen. In 11 NHL seasons, Teuvo Teravainen has morphed into a solid middle six winger. The Finnish forward recorded 53 points last season, including a career-high 25 goals. Already a cup champion with the 2015 Chicago Blackhawks, Teravainen could be looking to cash out for possibly his final big paycheck in the NHL. He'll be 30 before the 2024-25 season starts, and his last contract paid him $5.4 million annually. Tyler Bertuzzi. In his first year with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tyler Bertuzzi improved his play as this season went on. As a top six winger who provides solid offensive production and plenty of grit, he will be a hot commodity if he hits the market. However, both the Maple Leafs and Bertuzzi are interested in getting a new deal done, so he can stay put. It will come down to how much term and money the Maple Leafs are willing to give him. Max Domi. Speaking of the Leafs, you can't bring up Bertuzzi without talking about Domi, another Maple Leafs player who could hit the free agent market this offseason. Overall, Domi became a notable part of Toronto's roster, so there is a real chance he will get re-signed. Like with Bertuzzi, both sides are interested in getting a new deal done. It all comes down to term and cap space. Yet, if Domi becomes a free agent, he will be a very popular player around the league. Victor Arvidsson. After dealing with injury trouble for much of the season, 31-year-old Victor Arvidsson could be an affordable winger for many teams. Playing in 77 games in 2022-23, the Swede recorded 59 points. Arvidsson is undoubtedly a player worth taking a shot on, as he has a good amount of success in the league as a middle six forward. Vladimir Tarasenko. Another solid winger and former Cup champion who could hit the market this summer, Vladimir Tarasenko had a strong regular season, as he had 23 goals and 55 points in 76 games. He hasn't disappeared in the playoffs either, forming a lethal third line for the Florida Panthers alongside Anton Lundell and Eetu Luostarinen, even scoring the series-winning goal against the New York Rangers. Vladdy is the perfect kind of sniper for teams to add on a short-term deal. His family does reside in Florida, as the Panthers were the only team he was willing to wait for when the Senators moved him at the deadline. Perhaps Tarasenko would take a discount to stay put. Chris Tanev. One of the most sought-after defensemen at the trade deadline, Chris Tanev made the move from the Calgary Flames to the Dallas Stars. Tanev was an absolute warrior for the Stars as they progressed to the conference finals. He may have only recorded 2 assists in 19 games, but he still leads the playoffs with 73 blocked shots. Every franchise wants a player that's willing to put their body through that sort of punishment for the team's success. Dallas likely wants to keep him, but teams in need of defensive help will be all over Tanev. Jonathan Drouin. When Jonathan Drouin signed a cheap $825,000 contract with the Colorado Avalanche last summer, people immediately made the connection with his former junior teammate Nathan MacKinnon. After all, the two of them had so much success in Halifax. Recording 56 points in 79 games, Drouin absolutely deserves a raise after proving his worth. It will be hard to fit him back in Colorado, but the mystery surrounding the status of both Valeri Nichushkin and Gabriel Landeskog could open things up. Adam Henrique. A deadline acquisition for the Edmonton Oilers, Adam Henrique was an excellent depth pickup from Anaheim, recording 51 points in 82 regular season games and 4 in 10 playoff games. Edmonton has established a willingness to go longer term on a deal in order to get a more attractive cap hit, and Henrique would be a worthy candidate, should he be interested in staying. A Stanley Cup win would certainly also persuade him. Cam Talbot. We wanted to finish things up by talking about a goaltender. Although this year's goalie class is relatively weak, Cam Talbot probably has the best resume, signing a 1-year, $1 million deal with the LA Kings following a disappointing and injury-riddled campaign in Ottawa. Cam Talbot started off strong in California. He represented the Kings at the All-Star Game and ended the season with a .913 save percentage. Unfortunately, that evaporated into an .861 in 3 playoff games against Edmonton, where he went 1-2. At the age of 36, it's probably time for Talbot to settle into a backup role, or at least a 1B in a tandem situation. But which of these pending UFAs would you most like your favorite team to sign? Where do you think some of them best fit around the league? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to click like if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more NHL content. We'll see you in the next video.